Good morning, this is Heather Hoffman, and I'm here today with my first card using the August 2020 Kit of the Month from Unity Stamp Company. I love the hint of fall that's starting to creep into it. I've already pre-stamped an image and sentiment on a panel of white cardstock, and I'm going to just color it really simple, only with two Copic colors. I'm starting off with kind of a lighter yellow, Y35 is this, and I'm doing just a very, very rough, quick coloring, purposely leaving a little bit of white space still and just kind of adding a base of color to start with. And then I'm going to come in with my next darkest color, which is YR24, and add kind of the depth and shading in the center. Again, you can see I'm going pretty quick. I'm just kind of hitting the base of each of the little kernels of the wheat grains, and then a little bit of shadow on those leaves as well. And then I'm going to come back in with that lighter color again and just kind of fill in the gaps in that white space and blend a little bit between the two. Leaving that white space left a little bit lighter because I've layered up that lighter color 2 times. So in a way, it almost fakes 3 layers of shading in there, which is kind of fun and just a quick, simple, easy coloring technique. All right, now I'm gonna just use some basic rectangle frames or rectangle dies to create a frame for my card. And you kind of see I placed them on to decide the size of the frame. This is a great way to create a custom frame just with basic dies that you have on hand. You can do this with any basic shape, circles, rectangles, squares, anything. And just by pairing 2 together, you can see I'm kind of evenly spacing them, taping them in place. I could do one at a time, just start with the larger one and then cut the window out, but it worked quite well just to do them both all at the same time, as long as I taped them in place, because you don't want these to move or you're going to have a wonky frame. But as soon as I peel that off, you'll be able to see it's just a perfect, simple little frame to put around that image. And I did it black just so it would be really crisp and just stand out really well from that background. All right, before I adhere that down, I decided it needed a little something to kind of pull that black in. So I decided to add some black splatters. I really like using my black liquid watercolors. These are from Pinkfresh Studio. It's kind of the favorite way I've found to add good, crisp black splatters. A lot of the other ones always seem to dry to more of a gray color, and I liked how these stay dark. They do take a little while to dry, so do be careful not to smudge them if you decide to try that. I usually give a good long while before I touch them too much. All right, to pop this frame up, I'm using some thin strips of foam adhesive that I had on hand. You could also just trim thin strips down yourself with scissors from a roll of foam tape, but you could also just adhere it straight on if you didn't want to add that layer of dimension. That bottom piece really wants to stick on before I had it in place where I wanted it. So I had to try a couple times there, but super simple, but it really just kind of highlights that center image and makes it pop a little. And I love how part of the image is kind of sneaking out of the frame on the right side. It just kind of adds a little bit of a whimsical feel to it. And it's so crisp and classic and modern, but it just feels like that little leaf is just being rebellious and sneaking out of the side. All right, I have a white card base. You might notice I put my adhesive on the card base instead of on the front because that black watercolor had not fully dried. So I don't want to risk smearing it, and I'm being really careful as I press that down. But there you go, clean, simple, and super easy, fun way to highlight a fun image. Thanks so much for coming by today. Have a wonderful day.